thanks for everybody that's on here. As we close out the Q&A, everybody get ready because we're going to have a hot open mic time. There's a lot of amazing stocks that had some huge runs today we're going to be discussing, and I want everybody to have a chance to speak. Now, we have changed something just to give everybody a chance to be able to talk. You get one time up. It's not going to be limited. We don't want it to drag on forever, but we want you to be able to finish talking about what you have to say and not limit it to just 2 minutes. So make sure you stick to a stock with information due diligence on it, and we're going to have a discussion about that. Guys, it's going to be a great time. So if you want to bring more than one, if nobody's up at the end, we may offer you to come back up, but at the present time, we're going to stick to one time up. So to kick this off, I just want to give a little market rundown on some of the action today. I did some research, and man, NILA, NILA, 29 cents a share, was up 1,596% on 16 million shares in trading volume. ERBB, a 0006 stock, was up 500% on 28 million shares of volume. And MDTC was at 21 cents, was up 100% today on 283,000 shares. CBWTF at 4.5 cents almost, was up 69%. And we had a few losers that you guys may recognize, like AURI. I mean, at one point I worked with the company, but AURI was down 66% on 33 million shares at 0001. And a big loser today was FSRN. I don't know if anybody had that on their radar, but hope to God they've averaged down. That stock's at 2.5 cents roughly, and they were down 70% on 299 million shares of trading volume today. So there's lots to talk about. Who's got their hand up? Let's get this rolling. OTC, I turn it over to you.
All right, let's do it. I'm really excited to hear some ideas from folks, so get your requests in. Obviously, a weird day in the OTC, that NILA with just a fantastic move, and then the caveat emptor right after. And it looks like, according to the news, the CEO resigned after the announcement came out because he didn't sanction it. Yeah. So he resigned.
So wait, they had the move.
Yes.
And then caveat emptor hit.
Correct. Yep. They just did it like an hour ago.
How does that work?
Yeah. Unbelievable. So big letdown because people were really feeling as if they were seeing some big liquidity and volume. Obviously, for it to pull that much dollar volume, they had some type of a big pump lined up. But it's just disappointing to see, and another kind of reminder of kind of where we're at with this. And it helps you appreciate stuff like with what Sheldon's doing, which is legitimate, because this was just another kick in the pants for OTC traders. I'll tell you what.
Let me ask you a question. Once caveat emptor hit, that means people can't buy or sell shares of that company. Is that correct?
They can sell the shares, and then and here's the bogus part. In the United States, on American brokers, they're no longer permitted to buy it. In Canada and other countries, they're allowed to buy it. So, like, I could scoop the dip on NILA. Well, I can't because it was a cease trade for me, so I couldn't even buy it. But if it wasn't NILA, if it was something different, I could scoop up the dip tomorrow and make a big trade on it.
Wow.
The management of it all, like, because it's a combination of, like, obviously the regulations that came in, but also brokers are sticking their nose into the regulation. You know what I mean? So brokers are deciding, whether or not you can trade a caveat emptor or not. And, they're not regulators. So it's very strange to me why it is that they're doing this. I mean, what do you think, Shido?
No.
I just sent you an invite. Accept it. Oh, you're there.
Hey guys, I mean, I'm so fucking pissed about this stuff. I mean, I was sitting here when I saw this. I just couldn't. I was staring at my monitor. I couldn't believe it because, I mean, the OTC was feeling so good today. It has been so long when we saw that energy and such a mover, and then other low floats were moving, and it was just great. I mean, it was. I saw a lot of people really energized, and then this, I mean, this is like basically the worst thing that could happen. On the first day of the news is unbelievable. Okay, it's mainly because the CEO came out with that stuff. I get that. Otherwise, it would never happen this fast. But this was the reason, because that it happened today, I guess.
Extremely disappointing.
It is. I was looking forward to the rest of the week and everything, and now I don't know how people react. I don't know how much liquidity there is still in from our retail guys.
Well, you consider, I mean, the string of rugs, like with the Song rug, the IGPK rug, and now this. I mean, they've got a big problem with retail, where retail is going different places, and you see them moving to this Solana exchange.
Yeah, I know.
In a big way, and like I've been working with it over the last little while and have figured out how to do it. But it's strange to me. It seems like the OTC is actively trying to ensure that pink sheets are no longer part of it.
Yeah, and it's their own business they operate in. I mean, I get that they earn more from QBs and from foreign listed stuff, but they still earn from their pink sheets. I mean, they still pay. So I don't see the intention, and it's not protection. How can you? What protection is it if tomorrow everybody loses everything he has in this stock? I mean, who exactly is getting protected here?
I don't know. I think
the investor.
I think the question with regard to protection, I mean, like they said that by getting rid of the stop signs, we were being protected, and then in turn, they just made it shooting fish in a barrel for note holders, and now they're protecting us by wiping out anyone that held a bit of this NILA. You know what I mean? And so it's pretty shocking to me what they determined to be protection, because like literally right now, all those people that we would have had trading these are out trading some what butt coin or ball coin.
And I hate to see that. I'll be honest. I mean,
it's shocking.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they are thinking. OTC markets, I don't get it. Who knows? I mean, just leave us alone. We are all adults, Let me sign something with my broker that says, yes, OTC trading is risky. I signed that, and I'm an adult, and that's it, Just leave us alone. I thought you had to anyways. I don't know if they explicitly.
I think you do, yeah.
Let you sign that OTC trading is risky, or trading in general. But stuff like this happens all the time on the big boards, and they don't care about it. It's the same with the promos. In the OTC, either you get some big news like this, or you have a promo running or something like this. Otherwise, you don't see these moves. And it's the same on the big board. But on the big boards, nobody cares. And here, if you have a promo, you get the CE or the promo tag. And the same with some news. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's very,
what was that
very
stock?
Frustrating. Go ahead.
Pat, what was that stock back in the early 2000s that was a huge loss? Oh, I can't remember. They had a huge scandal, and all of a sudden the company went belly up, and it was a massive stock. Yeah, big board.
Enron.
WorldCom. Okay,
WorldCom, yeah.
Both of those stocks, I was on a boiler room floor watching people make, I don't normally say this, but shit tons of money off of the bounce after it hit the bottom. It would trade, it would vacillate like a few 100% multiple times during a day, and kept on bouncing, it traded after they announced the that they were belly up and under investigation and bankrupt and all that. It traded for quite a while after that, and people made more money then than they did on the investment originally.
Yeah, no, there were some great bounces, and I mean that would it would be possible here if brokers didn't stick their nose into, so now the brokers coming in for American traders and saying, oh, you're not allowed to trade caveat emptor, sorry, and so it's just pretty shocking.
Are they doing that because of people on like Webull and what's the other one? But on the small brokerage firms where they don't actually have a broker, Robinhood.
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take here. And I mean, now we're going to be back to baby volume everywhere. And it's a real pickle. Real pickle. It's a real
Well,
pickle.
we're here to help weed through it.
Yeah.
Guys, who's up next with the stock? Bring
55
it up.
vet.
Let's do this.
Let's do this thing, man. Hit us with it.
Yeah, unmute yourself, 55 vet.
No, hi guys. No, I just wanted to mention, you're talking about the CE status. Canadians can buy or sell CE. But
That's
I
correct.
know in the US, you can only sell. There's no buy.
That's correct.
Okay. I just wanted to make that point.
Unless it's a cease trade. So like for me, NILA's blocked in my province. So I couldn't even own NILA. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
it's really a so it's an extra bit of complexity as well. But if you lived in a different province, you could have bought NILA. So I won't be able
Wow.
to buy the dip bounce here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Ontario, so.
Oh, so maybe you can buy it there.
Yeah.
It's blocked in Alberta.
I bought and sold CE status stocks.
Maybe not NILA though, because they have the cease trade
Oh,
order on some of them. But
okay, no. I don't think any of them had the cease trade on them, no.
yeah, well, we'll see, I guess. Anything else on your mind?
No, like I mentioned ICNM last week, but it's been quiet. The CEO's on vacation right now, so he mentioned once he's back, he's got some PRs he's going to be releasing, so we'll see what happens.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks for popping in.
All
How
righty.
about CMC? Talk soon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, Cameron, what's up, man?
Hey, I just got to kind of going along the lines of what you guys are talking about with liquidity. Are you guys lumping the big board stocks that are primarily retail into the same boat as these OTCs? As far as I see these stocks that are on the Nasdaq and they got a lot of good happening to them, but the volume's just so low that it's like it's volatile. It moves 6 to 10% up or down on 10,000 shares traded throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it on them too. And like I said, I mean, the part of the reason is that retail has moved over to trading these Solana coins. This month alone, they pulled $50 billion on these Solana coins. 50 billion, which is a record.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, explain what that means to people. I mean, briefly. So if they're pulling that much in Solana coins, does that mean all the money that was on OTC is now shifted out of OTC and has been trading elsewhere?
That's correct. I mean, you're seeing just a ton of volume going into these things, and they're, kind of meaningless, uh, just shit coins. But the reason that they're getting so much volume now is because there's no fees on them. So that was the issue with shit coins before was that, the fees, the Ethereum fee you would pay would be half the trade. As we're now
Yeah.
with these Solana, and now that they've gotten rid of Binance, right? Like Binance has gotten into all that trouble, and a lot of people can't fund their Binance account. So what happened was they switched to Solana, and found out that the fees on Solana are 1 or 2 cents, and you can cook up your own coin on Solana in about 15 minutes. And so all of a sudden, over the last 2 months, you've seen almost $50 billion a month go into these Solana coins. And it's truly the new Wild West. And it's a shame because OTC markets could, and even those micro caps could have been capturing that volume, but they if they weren't over regulated, they were greedy. And now people said, you know what, retail traders just said, you know what, frick you, I'll go trade Joe Biden coin or
Oh,
whatever.
God.
You know what I mean? Like, or whatever.
That's a slow coin.
Yeah, that is a slow coin, but it's Joe Biden. You know what I mean? Or like right now they're running up Hunter Biden, and the website is just a cartoon of him
It's
with,
an actual coin?
yeah, Hunter Biden, and the website is just
Was he taking all the profits to go smoke some crack? I
no,
don't
he
get
has
it.
nothing to do with it. The website is a picture of him with a crack pipe. Like that's but listen to this. It pulled $10 million in the last 4 hours.
What?
10 mil. So,
Oh my gosh.
this is what I'm saying. These OTC companies and these pink sheets have been pigs with their selling, and now this is what they get.
So when you find companies that aren't being pigs with their selling, that are actually raising money by private placement or actually generating cash like GMGI, then those are ones you want to look at more closely, like IDKFF. Man, they got money coming in. They have so many companies they're invested in. Those are real companies that through due diligence you can see have a lot of meat on the bone and are worth looking at, because ultimately all of these other shit companies are going to be exposed. They're not going to have traction. They're going to have to pay a lot of money to do a pump just to get their stock to move, only for it to crash further than it was before it started.
Yeah,
So watch out for those situations.
yeah, and that's the problem when you lack organic retail liquidity, then these companies just turn to pumps, and the move ends as soon as the pump ends, and so to your question, Cameron, I mean, we're seeing it on microcaps, small caps, and OTC, because people are finding other outlets, and this is what happens when you smother something. It becomes perverted.
Yeah. Great question, Cameron.
I guess I got a follow-on question to that, if you don't mind.
Right.
I guess this has had to have happened before in some point in the history where things got a little bit too greedy and it got smothered out. When you have real companies that are out there and they got a lot of good going along with them, how do they develop that liquidity? Like, is there something that has happened in the past that we should be looking for?
I mean, from what I've understood, I mean, a company has got to be willing to dig into its own pocket and start buying up their stock. I mean, that was what I did appreciate about what Sheldon's doing, is that he's doing exactly that. But if one of these these low price companies are just constantly converting, and until one of them can come up and say, boom, you know what, I'm buying, here's the receipts, and I'm not buying printed shares off the books, I'm buying them on the open
Going
market
in the
around
market.
this price, and here we go. And until that day comes, people are saying, well, you don't even want to own your own stock, all you do is dump it, so why would I?
Yeah. I do know of a stock that's about to start buying their shares back. They already announced it, but the shelf offering or whatever expired because of some really lengthy acquisition. But I expect that people are going to start seeing GMGI start to purchase their shares back and re-announce that offering now that they're closing the acquisition. So there are companies out there still doing the right thing. IDKFF, GMGI, these are companies that will put their money where their mouth is and are worth looking at in a serious level.
Yeah, that's what I'm often saying, because there is often the notion out there is only scams and stuff on the OTC, and there is not. I mean, there is a good amount of solid companies like the ones you just mentioned, for example, and GMGI was on the OTC before they moved to NASDAQ, and there is others.
Yeah.
There are a couple of good companies on the OTC. If you want to play the value stuff, you can find them. you know?
You can, and it's just the question is, what is the path to volume? And I don't really know the answer to that right now. I wish I did.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Because I mean, we've had some great setups. Like that TPIA, you can barely catch a bid. Herb, they hired Manny Pacquiao. They didn't just put him on the board. He's working for them, and you can barely, literally, he's an employee at
He's a hard worker.
yeah, and he's an employee of them and running a big business with huge revenues, and you can't even catch a bid. So I feel like there's really a I don't know what's going to end the disconnect, but watching people buy $10 million of a cartoon picture of Hunter Biden smoking crack, I mean that's where we're at now, and that's how much these companies and this exchange has failed.
Yeah, I cannot get my mind wrapped around this meme coin stuff, and what they buy, and without any purpose, and without any reason anyway, but not even a purpose is there sometimes on these coins. And this I don't understand that, and this is not something I want to do, but I see it has volume, and maybe the OTC is too sophisticated for some of them. They just need a picture of Hunter Biden. I don't know, and that's enough. It's not a good sign, the state of the mass retail guys out there. If you see this,
it's their protest. It's them. They said we tried to invest in quality. We tried to invest in your news. We tried to invest in you, and all you did was dump on us. So what?
Yeah.
Hunter Biden, and that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very frustrating, and it's very frustrating for regular people with smaller accounts right now. I mean, you watch all these big board things run to the moon, and just a few stocks really, and then you try to get in the action. But if you only have a $1,000 or $2,000 account, well, chances are you're going to have to use options, and you can blow that in 5 seconds. And then and so they look at all the opportunities to make money, and they go, you know what, I'm just going to do Hunter Biden. F it. That's where we're at.
Yeah, I just had a DM, somebody telling me that might be it for him with the OTC, because he is still in NILA. Of course, he couldn't sell because of a rule with the, how is it called?
The PDT.
The
pattern data rule.
The unsettled funds.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Funds. Yeah, that's that reason. So that is out there as well, and so that's why he couldn't sell. I mean, it's just and these are really good guys, and they make it so hard for them.
It's I mean, the retail revolution unfortunately is not happening on any regulated exchanges, and it's a crying shame.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
So much going on, man. Does anybody know what's going on with BLQC?
I think did the promotion end there as well?
They're at 4.5 cents right now. I'm trying to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it reached like 16 cents. Now it's back down to just under 5. Volume's been trailing off since what date was that? Yeah, since around December, volume's been kind of going down some. There's a lot of stocks, man, that have done some really big moves, and it's been money that's gone behind them to make that happen. I mean, I really like stocks that actually put the news out. Like they're making moves in their financials, they're making moves in the market, and then they disclose what they've been doing rather than pay up front for pumps and for exposure just to get some hype going. I mean, that kind of momentum has been dead in the OTC lately. That's just not the way to progress with the stock anymore. It's got to be something solid and and serious for investors to take a serious look at it, honestly. Who's up next? We have Mr. Hobbs in the house. Wolf of Wall Street's in here. Guys, come up, raise your hand. Let's talk about a stock that you want to look at. And if you guys have a chance, while you're on the space, please take time to share this with other people. We really appreciate it when you go out of your way to not only follow our accounts to keep up to date on what's going on, because we will continue to have great companies with real information for you to look into that aren't just fly-by-night type of deals. So please keep in contact with us. Follow our accounts. And also, we have a YouTube channel that we're going to post every replay of our spaces under. So keep in touch with what's going on. Everybody for joining us. If you have a chance, go ahead and share this and let people know we're still live. Pat, do you have anything else for us tonight?
Sure. I mean, there's a few interesting things going on. I mean, that TPIA, very slow on the volume, but still hanging out around a dime, still no split. Share structure update has it only at 3 million unrestricted, still excellent. And the other one, this NUMD, I know people have been frustrated with it because, because of the reason everyone's getting frustrated with these stocks, but they do have an excellent merger that they're looking to close. And when it closes in with that self-storage space investment that they made, it could be an excellent mover for quite some time. So that's pretty decent. And who do we have here? What's going on? Well, I got some feedback there. I think I got some feedback on you, Josh.
NUMD is up 40% today, but only traded like 26,000 shares.
That's right. Yeah, it was just a baby hit, and that's that's kind of where we're at with things. It's just baby hit after baby hit, and I think that the problem that I find is, like, as I'll be sitting in it and I'll go, okay, there's no volume for days. Will there ever be volume again? And you don't actually know.
No, you don't. We definitely
I wish I was more upbeat right now.
What? Say that again, Pat.
I wish I was more upbeat right now, but this is kind of what we're experiencing, and I was kind of screaming from the rooftops for a while now about how we got to get it cleaned up out here in terms of company selling, and then you just think about back to back to back now, GVSI, IGPK, Song, this NILA. I would find it hard to imagine that there are a bunch of OTC traders out there with a ton of liquid cash ready to buy something.
There's a lot of people still, I believe, that are waiting on the sidelines as they see things play out, trying to make their an intelligent assessment of how to get in and get out and what stocks to play with. Look where the volume goes, look where the cash is. Just because the stock's up 500% doesn't mean there's enough liquidity to get in and out.
No, and that's the problem. And so, it's you really have to be paying attention to how much dollar volume is on a stock versus how much share volume. Because if you're actually looking to move some money, you have to take real care right now. And I think until something changes, it's going to continue to be the case. And people, they laughed me off when I said I bought that hamster coin over the weekend. They laughed at it when I tweeted it at 0.0011. In a day, it hit dub 9 on $3 million in a day. So, if these companies want that volume back, they got to step up in a big way.
Well,
Try again there. I can't hear you.
That one, didn't you?
One more time. We didn't hear.
I said you made a ton on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, it was great, but it was sad, because that's what they would rather do than this.
Well, Sergeant Skeet, you're up. What's going on?
Afternoon, gentlemen. I was just wanted to get on and see if anyone knew anything about CYBL. I thought I saw some sort of rumor that they're posting an update this week before their end of year report. I was just the Twitter's dead. Everything seems to be dead around CYBL, but it appears they've been doing a ton of work in the background.
Caveat
But
emptor.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was wondering if anyone has heard anything, knows anything. They seem to be doing little minor tweaks to their website, So just wondering.
So with these, if they're working to get the caveat emptor off, that work is being done with OTC markets behind the scenes. And a lot of times people will try and say, oh, they updated this filing, or they updated this, or updated that, and that's going to help. And unfortunately, nobody has any visibility to really where they're at in that process, if they're even in that process at all. And so, it's just going to be a black box, and maybe it will come off, maybe it won't. But unfortunately, you're just in the bird box there.
Does anyone know if Brett Rosen is still invested or whatever he was, investor in that company?
Brett is going to be on for a Q&A on this space on April 2nd. I suggest you be there because at this time, he's still not CEO or president of OPTI, so he's able to talk about all of the individual investments. And I just got a message from him the other day that I asked him directly what stocks he's going to be willing to talk about while he's on the space. And the symbols that he brought up to me are OPTI, PSYC, SIRC, ILUS, and CYBL. So, yes, he will be talking about CYBL. I don't think you want to miss that conversation. It's going to be a good one.
I'll be there. Thank you.
Let me tell you one thing about CYBL, just because it fits here. Their verified profile was removed end of September last year. So they have 6 months to renew it. Otherwise, they would go expert on the filings, right? They have caveat emptor, but they are not expert on the filings. So if they don't do it in the next few days, they're gonna get a grace period to get expert. If I don't know if you know what I mean, that's beside the caveat emptor. You have a filing status, right? They are limited now, and they would go expert. And the problem is if they go expert market, they would lose their solicited quotes. And if they lose their solicited quotes, they would need to get them back before they can apply for a removal of the CE. So that's a little bit what I'm watching. I'm not sure why they don't verify their profile. I think they know they have only a few days left. And it would be good if they don't go to expert market on the filing status, because then they would lose their 211. And if they don't have the 211 left, then they cannot apply for removal of the CE, because you need that. And that takes time to get that back.
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, it seems like they've got an okay business going on with their drones and stuff, and sometimes they just go, you know what, we don't need this hassle, we don't need this cost, we're just going to let this thing fade into black, go to the expert market, and let it go, because we're tired of fighting OTC markets to get the CE off,
Yeah, it's weird. I have no information. Do they have access right now to IQ, OTC Markets IQ, or not? Why do they not verify their profile? It should be a thing of 5 minutes. then they would be safe on that part. Then they would keep their 211 and they could apply for the removal, because you need to be current and you need to have a 211. Then that's the stage where you can apply for a removal for the CE. If you don't have these two things in place, you cannot apply.
Yeah.
So that's just a side information.
Well, that's what we're here for. We're trying to help educate people on the processes, expectations, the ebb and flow of small microcap and penny stock companies. And there's a lot of information that you just don't know until you learn where to look. But filings, man, they're huge in making sure you're able to access half the stuff you can. Keep up with them. I mean, there's no point in being a peak sheet company on OTC markets anymore. I mean, if all the companies that are pink sheet at the present moment, they're probably, if they're serious, looking at getting fully audited and becoming a QB at minimum.
That's right. Yeah. And it would be nice to know if some of them are working on that. You know what I mean? They should fill people in, but they just don't seem to do it.
I have someone that's going through that process now after a ton of behind the scenes work that's going to be coming on the space soon. TTNN, they've really put a ton of sweat equity into getting filings done. I think there's only a few weeks left until they're completely up to date on their filings and able to qualify for QB listing from Pink Sheet. And then they're going to address their share structure because it's too tight at the present moment. But meaning there's not shares available and people can go buy it, but you're not going to get a lot. And they've been putting in all the work, so we'll be able to talk to a company that's gone through and successfully navigated that process, so we can see exactly how hard it is, what hurdles present themselves, the type of fees that are behind it, and the turnaround time to get something like this done, because you guys as investors really need to know and have a correct expectation. If a company says, hey, we're going to go catch up on our filings to be a QB, well, great statement, but how long is that going to take? What do you have to go through? If you're able to understand that from a company that's done it, it'll give you a great understanding of how to invest in the stock or to trade it when you come across other companies doing the same thing. Because it's not going to pop the moment they make that announcement. I mean, the company's not going to run at that moment and all the world open up. They've got a lot of things to accomplish in that process first.
Yeah, for sure.
Sergeant Skeet, man, thanks for asking great questions, man. It's a pleasure to have you on here. Is there anything else you want to talk about before you go?
I'll say one more thing, and I probably get an eye roll, but IGPK, a lot of crazy, interesting DD context in a lot of these Chinese marketing videos on WeChat. We have a lot of folks behind the scenes silently kind of sifting through it. But yeah, it's this thing is we don't know what the hell's going on, but it's exciting for sure. So that's all I got to say. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
I wish the
Thank
damn
you.
thing would get back over a penny. That's all I have to say. I mean, I thought there was like some support around a penny or around like .009, but it's just not. It fell down below just the other day, and it hadn't seemed to be able to creep back over again.
Google
Well, someone,
translation is your friend. Use it wisely.
someone converted a bunch of restricted shares to unrestricted yesterday. So that,
Ooh.
unfortunately, yeah.
Did that mean they were selling, or actually other people saw that dump just because of the
Well,
transition?
you can't ever know. I mean, we know that they are now free to sell, and whatever restriction was holding them back, like the restricted shares are unrestricted via milestone. So in this case, I'm guessing the milestone would have been, having the merger done or whatever. And so whoever was holding those restricted shares is now able to get paid now that that milestone has been reached. That's not to say that we know if they've dumped them or not, but obviously they're free to be sold now.
Well, the volume was 89 million shares How many shares were unrestricted?
I think about 50 mil came off.
That's it?
40 million.
Or 40
That's
mil.
not,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot of shares. That's not enough for people to freak out over.
No,
Doesn't take
but
much
it's
anymore.
nice. It's nice, like, because I'm sure a lot of people would be saying, "Oh, that's 250 grand almost for some individual," and so people are probably saying, "Well, why are you selling them now if you believe in this so much?" You know what I mean?
Well, I'll speak up because I've had to do that in the past, unfortunately. Sometimes, you get paid a very tiny amount of actual liquid cash from a company, and you've been working for them for years, but they've given you some restricted stock, and you still have a family to run, you still have bills to pay, so you get put in a position where you've got to do things that you have to do, which may or may not include selling some stock. Now, if they're still connected with the company, most likely they're not going to be slapping the bid and knocking the stock down. So, I mean, a lot of people get scared over that for no reason. If it's a venture capital company, watch out. I mean, that's different. I mean, if it's a vulture capitalist, most likely they don't give a crap what happens to the stock. They're just going to get their money out. But if it's like a consultant or an insider or an executive or a previous employee, as long as they're not disgruntled, you probably aren't going to see them tank the stock. So people again know what you own. You should also look into who. I don't know if you can see clearly who registered the shares, but if you're able to find that out or ask the company and get some type of information, it helps.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to find out, unfortunately. But
Not on this
I mean,
company.
people have to, if they believe they want to hold it through the split, then you got to be willing to deal with the ups and downs. That's it.
Maybe today, why it was so weak, maybe part of the reason was that I saw some of these Chinese screenshots going around, and I saw one that basically confirmed that there will be share consolidation. So maybe some people who still thought maybe that was like a wrong filing on the SOS or something realized that the reverse split will come. It's just part of the reason, maybe.
I don't think those shares are held at the DTC yet, though.
No, they weren't added to the DTC. You're right. They weren't added.
To be tradable, you have to have the shares have to be on that DTC. Even though they're unrestricted, that doesn't mean they're tradable.
Yeah, it's true. But maybe they sold it and sometimes it's a day or two late, then they show up in the DTC.
Yeah, I watch it every day. There's a website I go on, and it'll tell you, like for dilution.
Yeah,
it'll tell you. It shows a chart. Like if you put in IGPK, it'll show a chart for the last year or so, and then you can see if that increase, if that DTC goes up, that means those they've increased the tradable shares.
What's their
so that's
website?
what you got to watch for. That's what you got to watch for, the DTC shares.
So what website is that, by the way, 55bet?
Okay, hold on. Yeah, I'll get. It's on. Let me see here. Let me get on there.
That's good info.
Well, I just learned that the other day. Somebody posted it about that because I was under the impression if it was unrestricted, they're tradable. But he says, no, they got to be in the DTC, held at DTC. So give me a minute here.
Yeah, they have to be deposited. Otherwise, it's you cannot sell them. Obviously, that's the thing.
Right. In Telegram. Are you guys in Telegram? Do you go into that?
Yeah.
The chat rooms and. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear your computer coming to life.
My phone rang there. In Telegram, it's called All Seeing Eye. So if you go into Telegram and you go into that, I'm going to call it up here. And what you do is you put in the symbol, IGPK, call up the symbol. And then there's three categories. There's at the bottom of, when you, I don't know if somebody can just follow that with me. I can
Yeah,
show
I'll
you.
just put the link to their Twitter account.
Okay.
Yeah, in the chat here. So I've got it pulled up. So I'll drop it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you put IGPK in there. And then you'll see a chart come up, with all the outstanding shares and all that. And at the bottom, you'll see three buttons, and the middle one is dilution.
Yeah, and so the thing is that you get those updates after the fact, right? And
Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
sure the timing of them. Like,
it's after the fact, and so I think what people and the way to avoid getting destroyed by uh it during the day or whatever is to really keep an eye on those supports and resistances, because you lose a support because of dilution, and then a lot of people will just sit there and go, well, no dilution happened, and then the next day they find out on the Telegram thing that it happened, but it's too late.
right.
You know what I mean?
That's a good
So
point.
yeah, so my advice to people is to, like, you need to be in something with a line, and you say, hey, if it goes below this line, that's going to turn me red and I got to go, because a lot of people base their decisions on Telegram updates where it's already happened, and it can be a very dangerous business.
Yeah, it's a good point. The problem comes if you start to believe in a story, right? Because then you want to be in the stock, then you don't look at the lines anymore, then you don't see it as a swing or a trade, but you see it as an investment, and that's where the trouble starts. I guess you would agree with that, Kiko.
Yes, it does. And I mean, we've seen now over the past few weeks, people who are trading solely on story get absolutely ruined. GVSI, IGPK, and more and more and more. And, but no matter how many times I try to say, like, you need to, if you bought something at, dub 6, and then you look at that chart and you see that there's just a ton of sideways volume around that dub 5, you got to draw that line and leave. And you have to understand that people in these chats are hired to keep you buying and keep you holding. Your friend or your whatever chat leader or whatever is a bought and paid for shill. And the sooner that you see it, the sooner this gets easy.
There you have it.
There you have it.
Who's up next?
All right. Yeah,
We
anyone
have
else?
just a few minutes. We've had a great conversation. We've talked about some great stocks. There's obviously quite a few things that could still be talked about. Didn't see anybody bring up BPER, but VPER at Trip 5 was up 66% on 18 million shares traded. Not a
Yeah.
ton of money, but still, it's a nice flip.
Tough road, that BPER.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really rough mile of road. I'll tell you what, that you got to be an absolute sniper.
Really? Tell me why.
I'm afraid so. Well, I guess we'll leave it at that then, if no one has anything else.
All right, guys. Man, it's truly been a pleasure. Remember, know what you own, do your own due diligence. We're just here to try to point out some fun facts about the relevant companies getting attention and to bring companies in front of you that really should be looked into more, that have a lot of meat behind them. So thank you guys for being part of this. We have one more request. Shalom Rect. Bring up that Rect. Shalom.
How's it going?
Great, man. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me. Just quick thing. I only really watch one OTC stock at a time. I'm currently watching PWDY. If anyone's interested, I have a Reddit post on my page
PWDY.
if you want to read about it. But quick thing, right at market closed, they filed a 14C, which the insiders voted to increase the authorized share count to 3 billion from 2 billion. And in the comments, they said it is for strategic acquisition or mergers.
They don't have money, so they're going to use shares to buy something. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that it could potentially play out well. But yeah, that's what I'm watching.
Okay, so
Do you think it's going to stop the run it's had?
I don't think so, because I don't know. I personally don't think so, but you could see how a raise in AS could be seen as like, oh, dilution scares off people. But I think that they can use the money well, or not the money, but the shares well, to bring in a cash cow. I mean, they're fully reporting, like they're pretty legit. I don't really see any like scary signs here. The financials look good. I mean, it's a real business. So to me, it seems like a safe play. If it doesn't play out,
I think you might find it to be a tough day tomorrow.
We'll see. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I hope not. And obviously, I mean, we've been at this a long time, I mean, when you hear the AS raises for acquisitions, I mean, that's what they say every time. And generally people, I mean, they say it every time.
Yeah,
So,
no,
I mean,
I understand.
yeah, like I'm not saying that it will get dumped. I'm not saying that it's no good. I'm not saying any of that, but I mean, it's at this point, it's pretty tough to spin it positive. We'll just have to see how it shakes out.
Yeah. I mean, I think it falls in line with what me and others have been saying for an acquisition to take place. I mean, otherwise, there's no real play here anyway. It's rather boring. So, I mean, it falls in line with the theme, but yeah, if people don't see it as positive, then I guess a sell-off would be foreseen.
Well, it may not do, because whoever unloaded so much of it today obviously knew that filing was coming. So they, whoever was filing it, I'm assuming, was the one who dumped it so low into the market. So obviously for them, they're not that excited.
That was the interesting part. Yeah, like 20 minutes before the close, suddenly somebody was hitting the bid, and we all wondered what is happening. And half an hour later, the AS race comes. Now, the one thing I'm gonna say to defend them is they have no notes on the books. If you watch the filing, if you look up the filing, so that's at least something.
That's something.
Yeah, that's something. I heard, but as you said, I mean, we will see what comes. And I heard that they want to do acquisitions and for a while now. So who knows? Maybe it's coming finally.
Yeah, I mean, the sales at the end was only like maybe less than $10,000. So
it wasn't huge. Yeah, it was just a.
To me, it could just be a coincidence. If it was someone on the inside that really wanted to, like, oh, gotcha, gonna dump my shares before I file it, I would think that it would be closer to 100,000.
Somebody jokingly said that Super Robot had been front running the stock and he started selling it at the end of the day.
No, for goodness sake, I don't believe it.
I don't either.
I really don't. I hope it turns out great, and I hope they follow up quickly with something exciting to say, because the optics are bad.
Yeah, well, the 10K is due this week. Last year they filed it on March 31st. This week they might get it out by Friday, because Sunday would be the 31st.
Right.
Time will tell, or we'll see a late filing. An NT10K. Don't see it much, but that's what you would be looking for if it's late. If not, we'll see it here shortly. There's a decent window of time for them to do it, though. It's not like they have like 2 days to file it. I mean, from the time it's due. So,
If they just
yeah,
filed that,
Shido,
yeah.
how long do they have to file from the due date?
What do you mean? After they file an NT?
No. Leave the NT out. I'm saying like from their due date for their K. What type of window of time do they have to be able to file it?
They have 90 days for the K after the fiscal year is ended.
See, that's a month and a half. I mean, that's
no, it's 90 days. It's 3 months.
No, that's 3 months. That's a whole quarter.
Yeah. Now,
so it's not like if they don't file it this week, it's not a big deal.
No, they have to file it until end of March because the fiscal year ended end of December. That's why they have to file it until end of March.
Yeah, I mean,
if that's the case,
there is a big deadline coming.
5 days.
Yeah, for a lot of companies because most of these companies have normal fiscal years, so they all ended on end of December. And if they file the NT, they have until middle of April, obviously, but they have to file the NT.
I mean, for PWDY, if they're filing that pre-14C for an AS raise, they're priming some type of pump. So I doubt they would want to go gray.
Yeah,
they've been on top of it, and I mean, they filed last year right on time. The OTC markets received it on 3/31, and that's when it's due. So can they do it on because 3/30 or 3/31 would be a Sunday? Do they file on weekends, or would it have to be during the week? I don't know too much about that.
Not on Sunday, I think, but they would bring it out on Monday, and OTC markets would be okay with that. But I just want to mention that there is absolutely no risk of expert market for PWDY. They have another 3 months to expert.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. The end of March is now to stay current, and with the NT until April to stay current. But another deadline, which has nothing to do with the staying current deadline, is when do you go to expert? And for a normal SEC filer who has solicited quotes, they get 6 months until they go expert. So they have until end of June. So that's not a problem at all.
Yeah, no stress there.
There is no risk. Yeah. For that, they can only go yield. That's the worst for now.
All right. Thank you, Shalom Rect.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Excellent. Way to come up, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll probably see you guys tomorrow too. Whenever you guys have this, I'll jump on.
All right, Beauty. We'd love to have you.
We'll be on Thursday, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
All right, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll put it in my calendar.
All right, see you then,
and don't forget, we have Brett Rosen coming on April 2nd, so definitely don't want to miss that. He's going to talk about 5 or 6 other investments that he's into, including OPTI, including what was the one that he brought up? CYBL. I believe he'll be talking about FLES. There's a few things, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you because I got just asked if he is going to talk about FLES as well. He will,
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining OTC Stock Talk. We're closing out. Please go follow our YouTube account. We're going to post the live replays in video form there, and as well as the timestamps where each stock was talked about for the open mic section. We're going to post a replay of the Q&A with Sheldon of IGKFF. Guys, check out those videos. Great due diligence there, and we really appreciate every time you share the video or watch it or subscribe to our account. We're here for you guys, trying to build a community where you can get real-time due diligence information on valuable companies with real meat on the bone. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you again on Thursday. Till then, guys, be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.